What is going on, everybody? My name's Daniel M47, and today we're talking about a subject that's been running rampant throughout the Halo community since its debut into the official playlist. And if you haven't already figured it out by now, either from the thumbnail or the title or putting two and two together, we're going to be talking about Breakout versus Extermination. Alright, everybody, so let's get down to this one-on-one duel. So, let's start out in the left corner. Breakout's been in Halo 5 since its beginning. It was a pivotal point in its marketing based on these new game modes spanning 5 to 10 rounds, and once a player was killed, their lives were out until the next round. Breakout's seen numerous changes throughout its lifespan, including specialty maps, even though they were the same thing, just colored differently, but that's beside the point. But changes in starting weapons, and most importantly, changes between ranked and social. Both multiple times, but you know. Anyways, moving on over into the right corner now, we have Extermination, which is a community-made game mode, not unlike Griffball itself and multiple others, that was so popular it became an official playlist, starting in Halo 5 and hopefully on through the other games. Though it is in social right now and has only been official for around 2 weeks, the reviews are in, and they are fantastic. People are loving this game mode more and more, and they're flocking to it more every day, but the question is why? Well, let's just get down to it today. So, are you ready to rumble? Alright, anyways guys, I'm gonna stop that now. But we're gonna start out with Breakout, like I said before. So, obviously 343 really wanted to hammer in Breakout and Warzone because they were these new game types that came out in Halo 5. But we're not talking about Warzone, we're talking about Breakout. So they brought in these new features, at least a feature to Halo 5 specifically for this game type, and though they didn't confirm that this is the reason why they put it in here, it's mostly used in Breakout, even though it's not used very much. And this is Spartan callouts. So basically, if you don't know what that is, it was apparently an extremely annoying thing in the beta. I didn't really mind it, and to be honest, it was a little more noticeable in the beta, and I think they turned it down because people thought it was so aggravating. But I understand what the point was with it, and I'm all for it. So a lot of people aren't, and that's just their personal opinions along with mine. I like it, some people don't. They're supposed to tell you where people are and what's happening without them having to have mics, which, I mean, to an extent, I mean, it makes sense. I would like that. I wouldn't like to always have to have my mic in, especially when I just want to play by myself, but I still want to know what's going on in the map. The only issue is with Halo 5's, it's kind of hard to distinguish, like, who's calling it out? If they say something, where exactly are they saying it from? So, you know, and they needed to fine-tune it a little bit. But I mean, and even when they did say it, it was really quiet. So yeah, there are some iffy points to it, and I mean, they didn't really help out the single-player Breakout players, and they definitely didn't help the team players because nobody even listened to it. But I mean, so that was kind of a thing that they brought in for Breakout that was kind of there to justify and make people want to play it single-player. Breakout's not really a single-player game. Like, that's kind of why it's in ranked. If you want to play something ranked that's competitive, don't go Breakout if you're playing by yourself, okay? Just don't. And that's kind of what we're talking about today. But also, when you're in Breakout, if you lose a team member, and especially if you're by yourself, you've basically lost, okay? Like, this may seem to be the case in Extermination as well, but in my personal experience, even though the team lost one person in Extermination, they still have a chance to win, because if at least one person can stand out long enough, reinforcements can come in there and help them. So I mean, that's just a little difference there that I think Extermination did better than Breakout when it comes to, I don't know, balancing out the single player and team players. And a lot of people are gonna say that Breakout is specifically for teams, and that Extermination is just an all-around thing, which I totally agree with, but that's kind of where Slayer comes into play. So I think Extermination is a very good way to mix Slayer with Breakout without it becoming one or the other. But a lot of people reference it and put it against Breakout, which is why we're talking about this today. But I am going to say, before we get into Extermination, now that I'm done talking about Breakout, that stating for the record, I do in fact enjoy both Breakout and Extermination. I have nothing against either one of these, so don't just think that I'm making this video because I hate either Breakout or Extermination, or I love Extermination and not Breakout, or vice versa, or whatever, because I do like both of them for separate reasons, okay? And that's why I'm going game type to game type. So now that that's out of the way, we're gonna go into Extermination. So obviously this game mode has its issues. The medals earned shouldn't be earned half the time, okay? The announcer telling you incorrect information half the time, or a majority of the time actually, because it doesn't tell you when they respawn or anything. You just kind of have to glance at the bottom right. And spawning in the middle of the opposing team, I mean, obviously that happens in pretty much every game mode in Halo 5, but that's a little more frequent in this game mode. Well, needless to say, this game mode is far from perfect, but people seem to like it so much more than Breakout, okay? So it's because they pit it against Breakout that Breakout gets so much backlash, okay? So a lot of people compare it there because the overall response to Breakout as a whole wasn't as amazing as 343 hoped, and they really pushed it hard in the marketing for the multiplayer and stuff like that. And I think that's why they put it against Breakout, because I mean, it is technically the same game type, just tweaked a little bit. So and I mean, maybe that's a good thing for some people, and maybe it's a bad thing for some people, but I personally don't think that you can compare the two, because the gameplay in both, it's completely different, okay? Extermination, in my experience, okay, if this isn't for you, then be my guest to tell me in the comments, but I'm pretty sure this is all around that it's very fast paced. I mean, people believe that they can respawn, so every now and then it'll give them a reason to just rush in and be reckless, because they're like, oh, it's okay, I'll have my teammate that stayed alive back here, and then I'll respawn and kill these other people. Whereas in Breakout, typically people take things a bit slower and hang back as to not die and be that one person on the team that made them lose and get 100 messages calling them horrible, god-awful names. So basically what I'm trying to say, and this video is for technically, isn't to pit them against each other as much as it is to answer the burning question that everyone's been asking, which is, should Breakout be replaced in the ranked multiplayer by Extermination? And I personally don't think so, okay? I think that they're two completely different game modes, and I would love to see them both return in Halo 5 as long as they're both fine-tuned. Spartan callouts for single players, and the overall approach to game modes in terms of ranks versus social. As soon as they get that ironed out, and the spawns and everything like that, I think that it could be really good, okay? I enjoy both, and there are people that like one and people that like the other, so why not have both like you have it now? I don't think that one has to be replaced with the other one, but that's just my opinion. So everybody, those are my thoughts. I would really love to hear your thoughts, so leave them down below in the comment section and discuss them with your fellow Spartans. But that's been the video for today, guys. Alright, I really hope you all enjoyed it. I will be having the weekly Halo update on Friday, so be sure to look out for that, and this will be the first one that I upload to the SoundCloud as well as a podcast. So if you're not interested in watching it on YouTube and just listen to it, I don't know, on your way to work or whatever, when you have the free time to keep up to date on all things Halo and all things in the Halo community that happened this week, then be sure to go follow me on SoundCloud. I'll be sure to have that in the description below. I've got to make that a usual thing, so I should probably go do that now. But anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoyed, so be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video, everybody.